We're gonna make this super simple locked off 2D camera script. We're not gonna lock the movement, we're just gonna lock the camera, but it's not as hard as you think it is. So I'm just starting super simple here with this basic platform. You can change the colors, you can change anything you want about it, but for me, this kind of totally works for the tutorial. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a script to my game. Now, where am I going to add this script? Well, I'm actually not going to add it in the workspace. This is going to be a script that joins and attaches to every player that joins our game. So we're gonna come down to starter player and then go into starter player scripts and add a local script here. And then we're going to rename this script. This is key. This is super important. We're going to rename our script to be CameraScript. This will overwrite whatever other camera script that the Roblox game runs automatically. So we're going to rebrand whatever they're using to what we want them to use. Let's go ahead and delete that. Let's zoom into here a bit and let's start scripting. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to grab our player. So we're going to say local player, and we're going to set that equal to the game's all of the players, and then find the player that is actually currently playing the game. Let's go ahead and grab the camera as well. So we're going to say workspace and then grab the current camera. We can grab just camera, but documentation says we need to use current camera for the most interoperability between the different platforms that Roblox has access to. Then we're going to go ahead and grab that player. We're going to wait until the character has been added by connecting up this wait function to this event. And we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to wait until a specific part of the player has loaded in. So we're going to say player.character wait for child, and we're going to specifically wait for the humanoid root part. This is just like the base of the humanoid character. It's not necessarily something that is part of the character. This is just like the humanoid part of the character. It's attached to every player that's in the game. So we're going to wait until that appears in the game. Then we're going to go ahead and say camera.camera subject. We're going to set the camera's subject to be that thing that we waited for here, this humanoid root part. So this is the thing that the camera will follow. Cool, so now that we've set the camera subject to be this, now we want to go ahead and set the camera's type. So we're going to say cam.camera type, and we're actually going to use what's called an enum here. Now, an enum, or an enumerator, is a data type that doesn't actually exist in Lua. Roblox wanted to do something, and Lua didn't let them do it. So they had to create an enum to create a brand new data type to be able to do this. So we're going to say camera type, and we're going to make it an attached camera. So this camera is actually going to be fixed to something. Well, what is it attached to? Well, we're actually going to, attach it to the humanoid, but that way it doesn't actually rotate when we right click and rotate the mouse around. It's actually attached to a fixed thing. Then we're going to go ahead and set the field of view. You don't have to do this. I'm going to set my field of view to the default 70, but you can change this to have a narrower camera or a wider camera if you've got a larger level. I'm just putting it in there as the default so that you know you can change it, but I'm not actually going to change it. Now let's create a function that is going to let the camera follow the player. So create a new function. Let's go ahead and call this function camFollow because that's what it does. Now in this function, what we're going to do is we're going to set the camera's position to be the player's position so that as the player moves, the camera follows it. So what we do is we use a C-frame, which is a coordinated frame. If you've done Unity, this is both a vector 3 and a quaternion, so it's both the position and the rotation all combined into one. So C-frame, we're going to set it equal to a C-frame.new, a new camera frame, and we're actually going to grab that player.character.humanoid root part.position. So this is the position of the humanoid's character. So this is the position of the player. And we're going to multiply that by a new value. So you can add, but when you're working with vectors, it's better to multiply. So we're going to say C-frame dot new, and we're going to multiply it 0 in the x, 0 in the y, and then we're just going to back the camera up so the camera's not smacked right into the player, and we're going to say 20 here. So let me zoom out for you so you can see that entire line. So what this camera follow script does is it takes the camera's position and sets it equal to the player's position minus 20 in the z. So just pull back a little bit from the player so we're not all right up in their grill. Then what we want to do is we just want to tie all this stuff together. Now, we want the camera to update every frame. Now, you're going to want to put a while loop in here, but it's going to crash your game, and then you're going to get jitteriness. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually tie this update to the refresh rate of the player, the refresh rate of the Roblox player, not the actual character on the screen, but the engine that runs the Roblox game. So we're going to say game, and we're going to get a service. The service that we're looking for is the run service, and we're looking for the stepped component of that. So this says every frame. This is every frame of the game. Go ahead and connect up that new function. Every single time a new frame renders, we're going to fire that cam follow script. All right, let's go ahead and play this and see if it works. All right, we're in our game. We can move right and the camera smoothly follows the player. We can move left and the camera smoothly follows the player. Now the thing we haven't done is you can still move into the frame and you could still, it's not locking that movement. If you want to see how to lock that movement, let me know in the comments and I'll film another video.